all I have in this life. Oh, 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 that would be enough until the hello Mia until the end of time. Until the end of time. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty good. Hello, Katrina. Hello, Jay Harvey. How are you doing, my loves? I'm finna send this to JD. All right. Hold on. Give me a second. Y'all know I can't do two things at once. And I'm really trying to get better at that. But I don't have the ability. Hello, Jadence. Javion. You're Javion. JD is Jadence. Hello. I'm well. Hope your day has been well. Today's been great. Leia, anyway, I was going to say hey to you, but I don't know who you're speaking to. So, unfortunately, I can't say hey to you. Today was good, Crystal. I am really needing to work on procrastinating because I did not realize that I have a really bad habit of procrastination. Hello, Jadence. See, now I gotta pull this picture up because I'm gonna love you. Ooh. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I like that one. Okay. I want to try something because Jadence gave me an idea yesterday and I really want to try this. But y'all have to be patient with me because I don't know how to do it. I mean, I know how to do it, but I don't know if it's gonna work. Katrina. And then we're gonna get started. Just give me a quick second to get this going. Hold on. Now I may only be able to do this with a couple of people up in her. So, well, actually, I'm not seeing a way to do it at all. Bring along your friends. No. That is not gonna work. Am I really finna have to go through here like alphabetically? I mean, if I have to, I will. But I just want to try something real quick. But if it takes too long, I'm gonna just wait till next time to try it because I'm thinking I'm probably gonna have to wait till next time to try this. But I'll tell y'all what it is next time. I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is today. I don't think I can do it because okay, well, yeah, that would make sense. Oh well. We'll figure it out. Hello, Tyrante. I was about to say a completely different name. Oh. Nope, still can't do it. Darn it. Hey, Karma. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Cynthia. She's a really cool dancer. Cynthia, boogie to the groove now. Hey, Poppy. I can't figure out how to do it. And it's going to drive me insane because I don't know how to do it. Hey, Amy. I'm doing pretty good. I'm just going to I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. We'll talk about it when we get off the live. When we get off, I'll message my moderators and let them know what I'm talking about. So, JD, are you here? Are you here, JD? Before I share this piece of news, this little piece of a story. Hello, Salvo. Hello, Moni. Y'all, I feel like I have to come out again. I've never watched an episode of Charmed a day in my life. I don't know what the show is. I know that Sandy here, I know that she left in season 10 so that she could go to Walmart. And I know that she went to Walmart in Kentucky because they had a jacket that she liked and they didn't have it in Sacramento where they live. And then Jenny comes in, their cousin Jenny comes in to complete their power of like, I think it's like their power of attorney, and only 3 people can have the power of attorney at one time. I don't know, it's something like that. And I know that at the end of season 15, Sandy comes back from Kentucky because she got the jacket that she needed. And I just hate that they didn't show us the jacket. That's the thing that gets me. Is like, how can you not show us the jacket that Sandy went all the way to Kentucky to get? Because, you know, Sandy was feeling very overwhelmed by her life. Because I think she was an insurance adjuster. And when she went to Kentucky, she was so stressed out because she quickly found out that Nationwide is not exactly on your side. And it's just I'm getting choked up because just thinking about it, like working for such a top chain insurance agency and not like, so it's just, it's a lot. Sandy was going through it. Ashley Nicole said, this is my first live. And I was like, OMG, I love Charmed. And was instantly like, oh. We like to have fun over here, Ashley. We like to have fun. I mean, you don't have to stay. Yeah, I mean, I want you to stay. I just want you to know my truth. I just want you to know I don't know what the show is. I've never seen an episode of it. I just go on Wikipedia and I find episodes to talk about. Like, there was one that was called From Tear to Crotchernity. I don't know. It was something weird. It was something weird like that. Like, I don't even remember the name of the episode. It was, I don't know. I just wanted to let everyone know that, so that way they know this will be about Sandy before she goes to Kentucky. So if that's not something that you're interested in, then this might not be the place for you. Because we're talking about Sandy. We're talking about Sandy here. I can't do it. JD, I can't do it. I had a whole lot of things. I can't do it. I cannot get through this. I cannot get through this. Before we get started, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here tonight. If you would like to support a content creator like me by subscribing to my Patreon or to the live itself, please feel free to do so. You get a host of benefits like group me access to our group me group chat. Duh. You get access to our weekly watch party. So many more things. And if you just want to subscribe, like help me for free, like help me on, on the journey, please feel free to go subscribe to my YouTube and the Discord. We have a Discord, so you can join the Discord, be a part of the discussion. You can go to my YouTube where I'm trying to post. I'm gonna say weekly. I'm trying to post multiple times weekly. However, and at least weekly, you're gonna get something. You know what I'm saying? So why not? What else do you have? What else do you have to lose? You're not doing anything other. Sean, are you JD's husband? Okay, good. Okay, so you were here. Okay, thank you. That's how I'm gonna address you from now on. I'm not gonna call you Sean. I'm gonna say JD's husband. Okay, good. All right. But yeah, so thank you, Katrina. So yeah, I just wanted to do that little plug. So we are here for a very specific reason tonight. We have a topic, and y'all thought I wasn't gonna have a topic. That's what you thought. You came here under the assumption that I wasn't gonna have one. And look at you now. Egg on your face, looking crazy. Because we had already discussed what we were gonna do. Tonight, we have two things that we are gonna do. Baby, listen, you want some Arby's? Paige can get you some for free. That one that they left her behind, they give her food. They gave her a lifetime supply. All the curly fries you can eat. So, Brittany, hush. Brittany just being messy for no reason. My God. It's too early. Anyway, so in a previous live, we had discussed two separate things. Someone asked me how I would reboot Charmed. And then the other thing, because I'm going to be in a Charmed musical that's going to be put on by Words of the Witches podcast, I was like, well, why not discuss a little bit of the comics? Now, I am not a full-on comic person, so there's only so far that I'm going to be able to go with that discussion. I want to let you know that now that is going to be a very small part of the live because I haven't read it. I haven't read them. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about something I haven't read in its totality. So I'm just going to give you the pieces of it that I know, a little bit of what I think about that, and then we're going to go from there. Yes, I will be in a Charmed musical. I probably need to make like a video about it and like actually talk about it, but it should be available in May. Hey, Adriana. Is it Adriana or Adriana? I feel like it's Adriana. But it'll be available in early May as a podcast. And hey, Winter. And then they already rebooted though. Oh my God, really? No one told me? I'm a fraud. I should just get off the internet right now. No pictures, please. No comments. No comment. I am shamed and embarrassed. I have brought shame to my family name. I know they rebooted it. That's why we're talking about what I would do to reboot it. No, let me stop. Oh, God. No. So, just for those who have never seen the reboot of Charmed, I think that if you watch it through the lens of its own show, it's not actually that bad. The problem is that they latched on to the Charmed legacy and decided that they were going to do their own thing, which is fine. But when you are going out of your way to... Who was that asked me that question? If you're in here and you're the one who asked me the question, because I forgot to write it down, I am so sorry. I completely forgot to write that down. But the reboot is an interesting attempt to update it, but I don't think that they gave it its full... I don't think it was a fully fleshed out idea, and they just kind of took ideas from the original and like threw everything at a wall and said, let's hope that this sticks. And then they said, okay, we're going to change this, and this. And there was really no need to. So I think that's where the reboot gets a lot of hate. But like I said, there are certain parts of the reboot that I actually really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the way that their powers worked. I really enjoyed Margarita and Macy. Hey, Mama Carolyn. I love Maggie. Well, I love Macy. I like Maggie. Maggie is my bae. Maggie's my bae. Like, Macy is my boo, but Maggie is my bae. I mean, no. Girl, whatever. I'm saying I like Macy. Somebody said I checked out as soon as they gave them Power Rangers weapons. Listen. When they gave Maggie that power staff... And then they gave Mel the little things. I don't even know what them things were. And then the mama told Macy, baby, you are the weapon. Girl, shut up. Marisol, hush. That's why you burning for eternity now. Like, you are the weapon. I'm sorry to tell you. I don't have nothing else for you. Girl, shut up. I would have slapped her. I literally would have summoned her so that I could slap her at that point. But anyway... I'm bringing them up to say, like, I think that they had elements that worked. They just tried too hard, in my opinion, to deviate from what Charmed was in an attempt to be different. And when you have to force it being different, hey, Kempire being here, but I don't know if Kempire followed me back. But I don't know. And I'm looking some, oh my God, look how the skin is shining. Oh my God. Baby, listen, it's given if my husband is in here, baby, hey, how are you doing? But anyway, future, because I don't have one now. I'm saying future husband. But anyway, don't so stupid. But no, they took a concept, tried to redo it, and then add their own spin to it, when I think they should have gone into it adding their own spin to it. They could have taken the source storyline, done a whole little thing from the beginning, but they had too much going on. And that's where I think the problem started. And as it went on, they tried to course correct a couple of times. And I just think that when you have to course correct that many times in one show, then, you know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't have to reboot your series within the series 2 or 3 times just for it to work. So when it comes to, for me, rebooting Charmed in a way that makes sense, I'm going to try my hardest to avoid it being centered around the children of the Charmed ones, and I have a very specific reason. I do think that when you center it around their kids, it's not a reboot, it's a continuation. And then and then it moves into that territory of, like, potentially, I'm not saying it would, I'm saying potentially it could move into that area of, like, oh, this is great that we have Wyatt, but where's Piper? You know, this is great that Phoebe's daughters are here, but where's Phoebe? Oh, we need Paige. You know, like I want to set the show up with, in my idea, a reboot and a continuance or a continuation are 2 different things. Not to say that they are, because clearly you got like Fuller House and things like that are reboots / continuations. You can have that. I just think that with a show as nostalgic as Charmed, if I was going to recreate it, I would open up a window for the original to make an appearance, but I wouldn't rely on that. And I wouldn't have that be something that's always at the back of our minds, like, or a prequel, yeah. This ain't Texas. Ain't no hold 'em. And so it's like, I wouldn't put it in a situation where, like, every episode, hey, Cynthia. I wouldn't put it in a situation where every single episode we're waiting to see when one of the sisters is going to show up. If I'm going to give it a new feel, I would try to give it as much of a new feel, because I don't think that you have to, I do not think that you have to make it a complete copy. I think if I were to reboot Charmed and not center it around the children, I think the 90s, that is a very good point, Stacey. The 90s vibe is going to be completely unmatched, because the writing in the 90s had a style to it that I don't think, it's not that people aren't capable of now, but I think that style of writing has kind of gone by. And so when we're looking at shows that are 90s based or things like that, you're gonna find it feeling like someone is trying to, bring the 90s into it. So I do think that I would have it be updated. I don't think I would have the sisters be young, because one of the things that the reboot did that I was not the biggest fan of was Maggie being 18 when the show started. It's not that I don't think that the show needs to be centered around younger people, because Abigail, thank you for the galaxy. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you, Abigail. It's not that I don't think that young people can handle the story. I think that if you're going to have a young person there, you need to have a mother. I guess in this case, a mother. You either need to have a parent-child relationship somewhere, or mentoree relationship. That person needs to be guided, or they need to be completely lost. For me, that does not mean, I am not saying that everyone here needs to agree with me, and if you don't, I fully understand, because baby, I'm just talking. I'm just a fat man from Louisiana that's on the internet talking in front of a screen. So at the end of the day, I'm just talking. But those are the kind of stories that I prefer. And I think that with a story like Charmed, part of its appeal was that they were adults. Phoebe was transitioning out of young adulthood. Thank you, James. Hey, Cast Iron Skillet. And Phoebe was transitioning out of like young adulthood into adulthood, and that's why I think we got a chance to grow up with her, and she was such a good character. With Maggie being in college, you literally had a storyline with her being like, I just want to rush a sorority. And that's the other thing about, I think, a reboot that you have to be careful about, is that you have to be able to play in a different demographics. And you don't, thank you, Mama Carolyn. You don't want to like isolate somebody. So you don't want it to be like a 30-year-old who's probably, or 35-year-old who's probably going to be your target demographic necessarily, because you're going on that nostalgia factor of it being a reboot of Charm. You don't want them to watch it and be like, who are these children? Right? Because you're going specifically for that. Like, you're going specifically for that nostalgia factor, and you are taking that piece of it. I'm not saying that you have to cater to them, but you also don't want them to feel like, okay, why am I watching these children run around? But then you also want the younger demographic to be able to watch it and find something to relate to. And that's where I think the magic of Charmed happened, is you have Prue, who at the start of the show was 28, right? Piper is what, 25, 26, something like that. And then Phoebe is like 23. So the youngest one is an adult, but she's a very young adult. So you can watch it. And then she was still so kind of like immature-ish, adjacent, that a young teenage person could watch it and really relate to Phoebe, right? But then you could have someone who's, I'm 32. You could have someone who's my age, the Shrink Church. Ain't no hold 'em. And then you have someone who's my age who's 32, and I can watch it, and at the time I may be able to relate to Prue a little bit more. And then you leave that wiggle room that as your life changes and you go through different stages, you can start to relate to different people. And those people who are at the younger end of the spectrum, with someone like Phoebe, who as the show goes on and she starts to grow up and she gets a job and things like that, you have a part of the cast that can grow up with her. And they kind of were able to do that with Maggie, even though she was very young. I think where it gets lost in translation, though, is the fact that Maggie was so young and there didn't seem to be any distinction between like her and Mel. It was kind of like, Macy is a doctor, but then she looks visibly very young, even though she was 30 at the beginning of the show. Like, no, she was like 28. She was the same age as Prue, but she looked so young. I think it's easy to get caught up in kind of like, she's young. That doesn't invalidate her as a doctor. That doesn't invalidate her life experiences. I just think visually, you don't really have anyone you can grow up with on that show, because Maggie is still very, very young. And so, you know, your teenagers are going to be the ones that are going to relate to her. And they're going to be looking at Macy like, oh my God, that old woman. But she's so pretty. You know what I mean? So it's like, you have to find that sweet spot. And that's what OG Charm did, and why it's so hard to, I think, recreate that kind of like lightning in a bottle. I would do, thank you, Mama Carolyn. I would do something like that again. I would have those sisters kind of be in that sweet spot range to keep that factor of it, so that you have someone be have them be more relatable. You can still keep the general premise, as far as like, maybe they grew up and then they, you know, as they grew up, they started kind of falling apart as a sisterhood and everyone went their own way, things like that. So I would probably still keep that element to it, where like at least one of the sisters kind of went off and did her own thing. You honestly could even have it be Prue. Maybe they're turning Turkish. Ain't no hold 'em. But maybe Prue is the one who left in this instance because she felt like, I've spent my entire life taking care of you. I've spent my entire life being the person for you. And I think that's another thing I would probably change about the show as a whole, is really making sure that they have something as their core. Like, that they have something, they have that story there for them. And I think it's really important for them because then you have something to build on. Like, you can't just come in and, well, you can, but you can just come in and be like, oh my God, I found my sisters after all this time. Ah! And then, like, we move in the first day that we met them. Like, girl, that's crazy. And if you're going to do something like that, you need to build. That's why Paige's storyline worked. Paige didn't come in moving in that manner. Paige got up out of there. When she saw that man explode in the attic, in his palazzo pants and his lace front, my girl left. She said, what did you turn me into? And she left. And she got. And my girl got up out of there and said, y'all can have it. And because this isn't something normal to her. This isn't like, girl, I'm not used to having sisters. I'm not used to what, like, y'all are tripping. And you get that level of realism, and you also get that moment to realize that she's a person independent of them. So that's why her introduction works into the story. But again, I wouldn't even go into it talking about half siblings. Thank you, Mama Carolyn. I wouldn't even go into it talking about half siblings, long lost, and the mama was a rolling stone. That ain't even on the agenda for me in a reboot. I would do something along the lines of having maybe Prue be the one that left, and Piper and Phoebe had to really figure out who they were without her, because she was the one who had taken care of them. And then you can go into it with this different, you can have a different dynamic, because in this time frame, maybe she left when they were younger, right? And when I say younger, I mean she was probably like 24. So Phoebe would have been like a younger teenager. Piper would have been younger. She would have been like 22, 21, something like that. And thank you, Luna. And so the reason I would do something like that is because then you have Piper having already needed to take care of Phoebe, because Phoebe is not responsible. And she felt like, okay, well, Prue is gone, Grams is gone, in whatever way that she has gone in this situation, and I'm the one that has to take care of Phoebe. But they learn to take care of each other, so they're more kind of cohesive. So when Prue comes back, Prue feels guilty, and that's part of why she comes back, but we don't know that initially. And then Phoebe was 24 in season 5. Girl, you must have been watching when Sandy went to Kentucky, because Phoebe was not 24 in season 5. Child. Wait a minute. Oh God, I'm so tickled. But no. But for real. So what you have is Phoebe coming back. I mean, not Phoebe, but I'm watching season 5 right now, and she just mentioned her age. Are you sure you're watching season 5 of Charmed? Because I promise you, like, it's not me saying that just to say, like, I'm, like, she literally was not. She did not say she was 24 in season 5. I promise you. Like, okay. Hey, you know what? Hey, maybe I didn't watch it. Maybe I really didn't watch it. Maybe Sandy really did go to Kentucky to get that jacket. I don't know. But no, the reason I would set it up like that is to have that added layer of drama where, and for the people who are just coming in, I'm kind of giving my thoughts on how I would reboot Charmed, how I like what my reboot of the show would look like, and I'm choosing to exclude like a show um that is centered around the kids because I just want to think of something different. Like that's just, because I'm different. But no, I would do something like that where Prue comes into the fold and she's trying to re-establish herself as the older sister because she feels like, I can't believe I abandoned y'all. I can't believe that I wanted to put myself first because that's not something that's natural to her. And so then that kind of opens up the window into us learning about these characters and us in this version, in my version of the show, where like Prue was always still the same person who wanted to take care of her family, but she chose to put herself first in something that does not come natural to her. And she's now feeling that guilt of like the same guilt of like leaving your child. And you could even have Victor try to come back into their lives, and Prue is adamantly against it. And then Piper and Phoebe are just kind of looking at her like, girl, whatever. And then she's like, so y'all aren't gonna be on my side on this? And they're like, well, Prue, you left us. And then she realizes that she continued a cycle that she didn't even think about continuing. Now, you may be asking yourself, Galen, it sounds like you're trying to split them down the middle. Hey Ryan, y'all go follow Ryan B Talks TV. He is amazing. He makes amazing content. Go follow him right now. Because, I mean, all you got to do is hit the profile and then click. That's it. That's all you got to do. So, girl, what was I saying? So, it may sound like, would I include Paige in the reboot? Somebody remind me to come back to that. It may sound like I'm dividing them right down the middle, but another part of Charmed that I think people don't take how influential this was into the show is the fact we had to watch Phoebe and Prue come back together because, baby, they were not together. They were not. They were so whatever. Their lives were so separate that Piper was like, you think I was going to tell this woman that you were coming back so she could change the locks? Girl, bye. Like, that's how divided they were. And the reason I think that is so important to their story and who they are is that they were a real family. Like, I'm not... There's no version of the show where I'm just going to come in and they're just like a lovey-dovey family. But then I'm also not going to force it to where like, well, she didn't grow up with us and now she feels isolated because because it's not going to work right off the bat. That's not necessarily the tone we're going for right off the bat with a show like this. For me, now you at home may think that would be the perfect show. And that's your prerogative. Because I'm just, I'm a fat man on the internet who is giving you my opinion of a 26-year-old show. Hey Sammy, I didn't know you were here. But but what that does, it gives them that sister feel. So like later on in the series, when the source comes, not the source, but when Balthazar comes after them, when Zanku comes after them, they come at them as sisters. They come at them as people. There are different demons who attack them as people, as sisters, as a family. And so that's why I would start the story off with establishing them as a real family, and we get that hey, vegan on a plane, and we get that actual sense of them as sisters, because then when somebody comes and attacks their sisterhood, we're like, dang, Phoebe and Prue just made up, and now this demon is already tearing with their bond. God, dog, Piper just accepted Prue back into the family, and now she got it. You know what I mean? Like when you set up a story like that, you set it up to where we can look at them and we can sympathize with what's going on. We can watch it and we can say, God, dog, the girl just got back home, and now all of a sudden, her and her sister fighting over da. And you set up that natural family feel as opposed to like opposition. It's not like, oh, the sisters, this sister just came home, and that's another thing that the reboot did off rip that I think set a bad tone. Macy immediately came in as a half sister, number one. And they changed that later on, but even that was unnecessary. But that was them trying to give an amount of drama to the story that didn't need to be there. She didn't need to be the long lost sister. She didn't need to be a half sister. She didn't need to move in with them the first day that she met them. There was no need for those things to have happened. They created a natural divide that I don't think they ever actually fixed. Because the problem is, if you're going to do something like that, like when Paige gets there, Piper and Phoebe feel like thing one and thing two. And then Paige feels like she is on the outskirts. And so what we as the audience have is we know that Piper and Phoebe are a tight bond. We know that because we've seen it. We have felt their bond. We know how much they're grieving Prue. And then Paige is coming into it, and we're having to watch her integrate into this and how she internally is struggling. And so you get a good story out of it because the building blocks were already there. But when you just come in making it about half sisters and making it about, oh, well, your dad was this person and da-da-da-da and blah, 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 blah. Well, baby, and then you don't even have Macy and, not Macy, you don't even have Maggie and Mel acting like they sisters. Mel is telling Maggie that we need to investigate what happened to mom, and Maggie is telling her, girl, you need to let it go. What? Mel is sitting up here. Mel is sitting up here trying to grieve her mama who these crows done pushed out the window. This ain't Texas. Ain't no hold 'em. The crows done pushed their mama out the window. Mel is trying to figure out what done happened and what done gone on. And Maggie is like, girl, I got to go. I got to go to my economics class. You have to get this together. She's like, girl, I got to go to third period. If you going to grieve her, you need to, this ain't Texas. Ain't no hold 'em. But my thing is like, you can't just tell the girl to move on like that. And that's what I mean when I say like, coming into it with something like that, Phoebe and Piper, we all have different opinions on how Phoebe handled Prue's, going to the lower room. I have a different opinion of it now from what I did before. But the thing is, we know the characters well enough to where you can go back and say, that does make sense for Phoebe. Oh, Phoebe does do this. Because it wasn't until somebody pointed out to me that Phoebe runs from her emotions that I was like, no, she doesn't. And then I was like, yeah, Phoebe really does run from emotion like that. Because she's never had to really deal with emotion like that. So yeah, she does run when things get hard. That's Phoebe's character. And when that sunk in, it made me see her in season 4. So I just looked it up, and Phoebe was 22 in season 1, and I think was 26 in season 5. Well, yeah, that's what we said. Yeah, she was. But anyway, but that made me see her from a completely different stance, and it gave me a different appreciation of the show. And it made me be like, oh, but that's what happens when you have a good show that you've written good characters for, is you get the opportunity to see them from different perspectives. But if you come in with one sister telling the other one like, well, girl, you gonna have to let that go. And then I'm supposed to believe that they're these close sisters who believe in each other and love each other and whatever else, even though they were kind of trying to say like they had grown distant ever since the mama was gone. It was like, well, baby, you can give me your little speech about your power is your sisterhood, your differences are your strengths, the pizza's in the fridge and it doesn't have pepperoni, warm it up at 450 degrees for 10 minutes. Like, that does not tell me that they have a sisterhood. You're telling me that their sisterhood should be strong. You're telling me that their sisterhood should be the thing, but you're not showing me that Mel and Maggie are this sisterly unit. Like OG Charmed, when we come in, first thing out of Prue's mouth, baby, we're not selling Graham's house. It's been in our family for generations. Phoebe immediately shut it down and was like, baby, I know that. I grew up here too. Don't try to play in my face like that. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got that tension from them that was based on, we are a family. You're not telling me something that I don't already know. And so we already know just from that one scene, Prue is very domineering when it comes to Phoebe specifically. Phoebe is not gonna sit there and put up with her mess. Like, and Piper's just gonna stand there in the corner. That is what the show is. And they show us that. They don't tell us like, oh, Piper is the, no, Piper is standing over there and Piper is fidgeting like, oh my God, now I gotta tell this lady that this girl is coming. And it makes sense when they do start to tell us like little things like Phoebe calling Piper Chicken Little. You know what I mean? Like little things like that. They're poking fun at each other because that's how they are. And they did a really good job at showing us their dynamics, showing us how they interact. So that's why I would still have some sort of like sibling divide within them, because I think that's going to be important to set up the story to go forward, especially on a show where their true power comes from them, like their connection and their bond. So it would make sense to have a show. This isn't part of what I would actually do, but I could see maybe doing something where their powers are working a certain way and they think like, oh, this is what our powers are. And then as they start to get closer, they start doing different things. And it's like, whoa, hey, whoa. I wasn't trying to move that. Or I wasn't trying to do this. I wasn't trying to do that. And then they're like, okay, our powers are growing, but they're growing, like whatever. Then you can make sure to let us know, me and Phoebe or you can show us like, they're having a fight and now their powers are off. You're telling us their powers are tied to their emotions. And you're also telling us that their true power is the charmed ones lies in their sisterhood. So, okay, maybe Piper, who we don't really get a chance to hear a lot about her emotions, maybe in this way, she's kind of like not really fooling with Prue like that. Phoebe is more open to it because in this, in my reboot, maybe like Phoebe is the one who does see Prue the most as a mother because of how much younger she is than her. So she's more willing to embrace her and bring her back in, even though she's mad at her. But Piper, who has been the one who's not in, who had to kind of fill that like motherly role and she wasn't ready to, she's still mad at Prue in this story. So in her mind, she's like, I'm not really, whatever. And they can't figure out like what that hump is. And then at a certain point, Phoebe's powers are growing, Prue's powers are growing, but Piper's are not. And they're trying to figure out why. And it's because Piper's not connected to them. Piper is not a part of the power of three. And I don't think you solve it in one episode. That's the thing about it. You have an arc. You have an entire arc where Piper's powers are just doing their own little thing. And we watch her have to rely on her sisters. And then them showing her like, Piper, we got your back. You're good. You be talking about charm for a living, baby. That's the goal. That is the absolute goal, is to talk about charmed for a living. So if you would like to contribute to that living by subscribing to the live or subscribing to my Patreon, please feel free to do so. Or send me something on Cash App. It's up to you. The ball is in your court. That's not a joke either. I actually do want to like cover content, things like that for a living. I really do want to do that, like for a living. This is sort of my, you know, journey into that. 10K likes per. Oh, per. Thank y'all. Y'all been cutting up. Y'all have been cutting up. Thank you. Thank you, Unnecessary Seed. But yeah, so that's why in my version of a reboot, I would make sure to show that all of them have to be connected. I don't think I would just come in and make I would show how close Phoebe and Piper are off rip, because they've kind of been together for the longest. This ain't Texas, ain't no hold 'em. But then also show that Piper is a person, because that's one thing that the show that OG Charm did that, I mean, I get why they did it, kind of, but I don't think it was intentional. I don't feel like Piper really got like a moment to shine in that first season emotionally. And so I would really make sure to show her working through how she felt, because I think it's important for her piece of the puzzle to make sense as well. So that by the time season 1 ends and they've taken on their big villain, by the time season 1 ends, they feel like a team. And when we go into season 2, they are cohesive. And even though they still don't necessarily get along in some respects, that's just a human thing, that's just a sister thing, but they know how to work together, and they know how to girl, what am I trying to say? It sounds like I'm lying. They understand how important their sisterhood is. Now, here's another thing in my version. If you're just getting in here, I am giving my rebooted version of Charmed, right? So if you hear me say something, you'd be like, that's not what happened. You didn't even watch the show. I'm just giving Galen's reboot of what he would do. In this version, and mind you, I am probably gonna be borrowing from some other stories, because I mean, why not? If something works one place, why not here? I think I would probably do something like have Patty still be alive, but Patty left. And Patty is the parent that they didn't have. And then Victor went to the lower room, trying to protect them. Now, I have a very specific reason for doing that. Very specific reason. If you have ever watched Ghost Whisperer, you know Beth Gordon is my baby. Beth Gordon is my any and everything. Because where Piper was trying to be cute and not want to be a witch, Beth said, you cannot want to be a witch all day. I'm not talking to these ghosts. Beth said, I am not talking to these ghosts. To the point where Mama was taking ibuprofen every 10 minutes on the hour. Because the head was hurting. Her head was hurting. She said, I don't see you. I don't hear you. You talking to yourself. That ain't got nothing to do with me. This woman let her child feel ostracized and alone after she had lost the only person that had ever understood her. Beth watched that girl struggle and said, I'm sorry to you. The Totino's pizza rolls are on the stove. You go eat. And I ain't got nothing else for you. Whoever this is that said, the mod said we can't talk about it. I don't know what y'all talking about, but whatever it is, hey Jay Bryce, whatever it is they said you can't talk about, they are absolutely 100% right. It's probably something about asking which sister is better or something like that, and we don't do that here. What am I trying to say? So what you kind of probably already know where I'm going with it at this point. But Jay Bryce, we are doing Galen's version of Charmed, my little reboot. So what I would do for a reboot. So the reason I would have Patty be the parent that's gone is because I would have them think that their father was the one that they got the magic through, but it was actually Patty. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, Galen, why would they think that? That doesn't make any sense. Well, in OG, Piper says Grams wasn't a witch, and as far as we know, neither was Mom. And so for me, I would play on that they have no clue how any of this worked. None. So in their minds, they're thinking that Victor was the one because he was actually there for them. But he went to the upper room. Because in this scenario, Victor's going to the upper room. Victor is going to go to the upper room because he was trying to protect them. And they didn't know he was human. And Grams was a witch, but she was protecting them from behind the scenes in this version. So Patty comes back and she reconnects with them and she's like, girls. Now she's not gonna sound like this. I'm just using this because I just love doing Patty's voice in my mind. And she's like, girls, I have something to tell you. I could feel that your powers have come. And they're like, what? And she's like, they're like, wait, how would you know about our powers? And she's like, what do you mean, how would I know? Because I'm a witch. And like, they looking at her like, girl, what? And then the drama that unfolds from that is that Patty could have protected them, but chose not to. And Patty chose to go on her own route. Now. I know I said earlier, it would be very much reminiscent of, so in this, what I said earlier about Victor coming back, make it Patty. So Patty comes back and is trying to reconnect with them. Prue is upset, but Piper and Phoebe ain't really fooling with her because they're like, well, baby, you did the same exact thing, so we really ain't fooling with you. So it's like, now you get a chance to get into that generational, like, well, why doesn't Patty want her magic? And I don't think that you have to go the route of her being like, I don't think you have to go the route of her being like an incompetent witch or she was just apathetic, because Beth got the market cornered on that. Beth said, baby, listen, let me tell you something. Beth Gordon said, I ain't got nothing to do with that. So I think that what I would do in a scenario like that, with Patty coming back and her having been the one that left with her, with, you know, knowing that she was a witch and she could have protected them, you could have her be a lot like Prue, and she left because of the responsibility, and she was not ready to be a mother, let alone to the charmed ones, because she knows what their destiny is going to be. Because even though the first Victor on Charmed was very creepy, I actually really enjoyed the fact that he at least wanted to protect them. Like, he seemed like he wanted to ish. So I would have Patty in my, so if, again, for everyone who just comes in, I am doing a rewrite, my own little rewrite of Charmed, how I would do it as a reboot. I would have Patty, she didn't want to be a mother, but when Piper was born, she was like, okay, whatever, you know, we'll go ahead. But then when she realized she was pregnant with Phoebe and that her children would likely become the charmed ones, she couldn't handle it, because she didn't know how to take them into this new power that they were going to have, that she didn't even understand herself. And she understood the importance of who they were, but she didn't know what to do with that, and she left. Now, that's a lot of drama for one season. So you don't have to necessarily get into that in season 1. This can be a season 2 or 3 storyline. But the reason I would include that is I really want to highlight in this story how important connections are and how important one generation to the next is. Because Charm did that. One generation would affect the next one have huge ramifications on the next one. The decisions that Grams and Patty made affected the rest of the girls' lives. You know, them trying to be witches in secret affected the sisters' lives for the rest of their lives. And so that's for me, yes. And then Wyatt and Chris, you know, Chris came back because things that happened to the Charmed ones and Piper's concubine Leo, you know, he was coming back and trying to avoid messing that up, but then also fix what happened with Wyatt. So there's all of this passing the torch that's going on in Charmed that we just watch it unfold so much that we don't really take a moment to recognize how important all of these things are. And that's why I would highlight still these relationships, because I love family-centered things and I love generational centered. That's why I love soap opera so much. And so for me, what I would want to show is that their mother is still a person. I would have them, you know, have those things going on because their mother's still a person. Victor was still a person. Grams was still a person. And they didn't make good decisions in the moment for the sisters. And so we can be mad at them all we want to because of how it affected the sisters. But we have to remember that they're people. Their lives are completely separate from these sisters. And highlighting those relationships is going to help us to understand more about why the sisters in this universe act the way they do. Because then we'll get a deeper appreciation for, this isn't something that Prue just woke up. And yeah, she felt like this, but she felt like this because of the decision that Patty made. And so Patty inadvertently put Prue in the same exact way. I mean, in the same path of doing that. And I would love that so much. And like, you don't have to linger on it. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be 16 seasons of the same thing. You know, it doesn't have to be like every single season, oh, Prue's got mommy issues or Piper's got mommy issues, things like that. You don't have to have that. You can resolve them while still letting us know that those things that they exist. And for this story, I kind of think, so, you know, in OG Charmed, Phoebe really, really idolized Victor in her head to the point where she knew that this man, she had a vision of this man taking the Book of Shadows. Now, she didn't know yet that it was, what's his name? She didn't know that yet. But in her vision, she saw who she thought was Victor taking the Book of Shadows from her. And instead of immediately telling her sisters and being like, y'all, okay, this man really is here to try to screw us over, she couldn't believe, like, even though she saw it, she couldn't believe it. And she couldn't internalize that was something that was happening with Victor. And she still wanted to see that good part of him. She still wanted to believe in him. And if you don't grow up with someone, they're always going to be the better choice. Exactly. Especially, here's another layer to this. Victor is their only living parent and the last person of like, that she could see as like a person of authority in their life. Grams is gone and Patty was never there to begin with. And so in Phoebe's mind, Victor is that last little piece of a potentially normal life. Because let's just be honest about it. Now, excuse me. I'm going to share this with y'all, and I swear to God, if y'all use this against me one day, baby, I swear to you, I'm going to light it up. I can relate to that because I used to have the same thoughts. Yes, my father's a piece of trash, but maybe he's not. And then there was that little piece of hope in me that something would be good enough about me to change him and make him want to come around and make him be a good father, right? That was what I held on to for a long time. And it took me a long time to understand that yes, we have that familial bond or tie, not bond, tie. But that doesn't mean that he's a person that needs to be in my life. And I still struggle with that a lot. And part of me still feels like, well, if there was just something better about me, then maybe. But girl, don't get me to crying. So that's why with someone like Phoebe, I really relate to what she does with trying to idolize Victor, because she's trying to hold on to that one little thing, that one little piece of what she could be that's normal in her mind. That one little thing. Because if you are not a if you are a person who has your father in your life, or both parents, whatever the case may be for you, or you don't have a parent who is absent, or was absent rather, you don't know what it's like for your friends to say, I called my daddy and he brought me this. Or I called, such and such and it brought, they did this for me. Yeah, my daddy's always calling me. You don't know what that hurt feels like to hear that and wonder what that feels like. And I'm not saying that you don't, whatever, like you're too whatever to grasp it, but it's a different kind of pain to want to be able to do that and you can't. I don't have a good relationship with my grandmother that I grew up with, for a multitude of reasons. And so for me, when people are like, oh yeah, my grandma, I go to her house every day. I don't know what to do with that. Because I live next door to mine and I wish I didn't. And so that's why I'm charmed whenever they would talk about Grams, and she was this important figure in their life. It gets a little difficult for me to watch that sometimes because, okay. Anyway, the point is that I would do things like that so that we could have understanding of who these sisters are, and we could keep those relationships front and center, because that's what I think at the end of the day. Yeah, we love magic, yeah, we love powers, yeah, we love potions and demons and whatever else, the Kazi demon, because the Kazi demon could just split me in half. But we love that. But I think that what Charmed is for us is not what I need from. What I need from you is understanding. Purr. And then Latasha stole the girl's money. But anyway, anyway, but no, what we love about Charmed is the sibling relationships. We love watching them as siblings. We love watching these people with their, with their significant others and things like that. I think that's why everyone has a favorite relationship. That's why people have a favorite job. People have a favorite, thing. So for me, I would focus on keeping them human as much as possible, because that's going to be the draw. I love the way that the reboot actually handled, their powers, but that shouldn't be the focus. I don't need to see them. I mean, it's a magical show, so I do want to see them using powers, but what's going to keep me coming back from week to week is not Is Piper gonna freeze 3 rooms at once today? Is Prue gonna be able to move the statue? Is Phoebe gonna be able to see Armageddon, in 6 different timelines? What keeps me coming to Charmed, even now, is thinking about how Piper changed as a person. Thinking about how Phoebe grew up. Having daydreams and visions about what Prue's life would have been. About how Paige struggled coming into the life. You can always find something different to hold on to with Charmed. And that is what we keep coming back to. That's why people get so passionate about certain things. And I know if you're new here, we don't like to have the discussion of like which sister was the most powerful, because specifically for everything that I'm bringing up, that's a counter whatever to what the show is supposed to be about. I understand someone said something once that, whenever you have something with magic, people are going to compare. And that's true. But for me, a show like Buffy is where I would do that. So maybe Buffy is the more powerful Slayer. Maybe Faith is the more powerful Slayer. Which one of them is the more powerful? Which vampire is more powerful? Is it Angel or is it Spike? There is a way to say this person is the most powerful. But with Charmed, the point of the show is that they have a sisterhood where they come together. And the point of Charmed is that their power is interlocked. So it is literally counterproductive to say, okay, well, I think Prue was the most powerful. Oh, I think Piper was the most powerful. I think and that, to me, having that kind of discussion about a show like Charmed it should be the furthest thing from our minds for me, because something like the Avengers or X-Men or whatever, it makes sense. They're a team of people who come together. Yes, they all come together, and they are a team, but you can still kind of pick and say like this person's power is more, and they found a way to use it in tandem with this person whose power is this. But the Charmed one's power is a kibosh, and their sisterhood is literally their strength. When my girls were going through it, what happened? The power said, okay, I'll see you later. When my girls were going through, the power said, baby, when y'all make up, we'll come back. The Book of Shadows said, don't touch me. The Book of Shadows in season 7, when they had their little confidence shaking, the Book of Shadows said, don't touch me. When Balthazar made them lose their powers by having that fight, the book said, you can touch me all you want to, but baby, I promise you, ain't nothing gonna happen. The book said, if you really want to use me, throw me at his head or something, because that's the only thing that I'm gonna be able to do. The book was so petty, it even broke the triquetra. It said, girl, anyway. The book said, if y'all can't get along, this is no longer your symbol. And that's what I live for, is like, but that's what I live for, is that they had a tangible object that symbolized who they were. And the book was always at the forefront. We saw the book get stronger. We saw the book start doing different things. We saw the book acting in its own right, because as they started to get more powerful, so did it. And this is the first time that the book has been connected to the Charmed ones. So it's got that extra little something to it. So it's like we're getting all these different things that are showing us that they are sisters. We are getting these different indications that their bond is growing. We're getting this indication that they can do things that they weren't able to do before because their bond as sisters has grown. Excuse me. And so that's why I think it would be in a reboot of Charmed that was more based kind of on what the show is. I think it's really important to make sure you keep those relationships for front and center. I would still have the book become more sentient as time goes on. So like I would even have the book be enchanted with like magic from the ancestors. And so the book is actually flipping itself. It's not Graham's going, in the afterlife going, well, my granddaughters are just idiots, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it to the truth spell so that way Prudence can tell that man she's a witch. We're not going to do that. It's actually going to be the book having knowledge from previous ancestors and be able to pass it down, be able to, the magic brings that thought to life in that moment. And when they need it most, the book actually does turn to this because it's connected to their magic, and it can feel and it can sense what they need based on this. And then you can have it as they become more attuned, tuned in with themselves and with it. You can have them maybe not rely on that so much anymore. Because another thing I think I would do is have them know which way to go. I would have kept the sections, if I'm being 100% honest. Because I love Charm Down, and it makes sense. There's only so many times you're going to flip in the same book and be like, let's see if the demon's in there. Girl, it's been 8 years. I think that I think you've seen a demon that looked like that before. I think so. Come on, let's be for real. You've been looking at the same book for 8 years. Yes, some stuff done popped up in there probably, but let's be for real. And now I do think that Charm did a good job of them knowing about magical creatures. Like when Piper was like, what about a bunyip? It's not good or evil. So what the hell color is that? That was a good moment because that reminds us, like, Piper be looking in this book. Piper knows magic. She don't be at the forefront like that, doing all of that, but she knows it. And like, when they know things, when Piper knew about the ectoplasm and things like that, and they know how to put spells together because they've looked in the book. And it comes natural to them to be like, no, there's a demon in there who blah, 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 blah. Because if you looked in the same thing, you know what's in there. You know it. And I would kind of start with season 1. I would keep their general, I would keep their powers the same. I wouldn't change that because there's no reason to. There's no reason to change it, I don't think. I do think I would actually, again, I do want to say for those people who have seen the reboot that I do love the fact that Mel was actually a time witch. Hey, the arts, I don't know if I can say that name, but hey, I'm glad to see I'm back live too. But anyhow, I don't remember what I was talking about. Okay. The powers. When that lady did that, I was so tickled because I was like, girl, shut up. Your powers. Okay. All right. Okay. And then Phoebe did that little levitate up, and I was like, oh. I said, oh, okay. That's what we're doing. But yeah, okay, so Mel being a time witch. I actually really enjoyed the fact that Mel had actual control over time, because I think it made it feel a little bit more magical, I think, than just like, oh, she can freeze molecules. I think it felt a little bit more magical. Mel did need another actress to make that character work. Love what's her name down. I do not know her name actually, but I love her down. I'm sure she's a lovely person, but they had the issue that I think Charmed the kid. Look, the cat is back there cutting up. The reboot had the issue that I think OG Charmed would have had if Lori Rom had stayed as Phoebe, where they wouldn't have felt like sisters. They would have just felt like people who knew each other. I think if they had replaced her, they probably would have fared a little bit better. God love her, She's again not talking about the actress. She's a lovely person. I just think for that version of Charm, they probably needed a little bit of so I would still have Piper be able to like stop time, but it would actually be time. Like I'm talking about like, what was the name of that movie? Clock Stoppers? Was it Clock Stoppers? Clock Watchers? What was it? Girl, I think it was Clock Stoppers. Anyway, I would have Piper be Clock. You remember the movie Clock? I think it was Clock Stoppers. You know what I'm talking about. The one where they had that watch. Where the boy found a watch or something and it would like stop everything around them. I want to say that was the name of that movie. I don't know. But here's the main reason that I would, and I know, listen, y'all may think I'm very chaotic, and I am, but I promise you, like, sometimes like most of the time I really do. Jay Bryce, not you anyway. Nasty. You're just nasty. But when I have like a method to my madness, like I promise you there's a specific reason why I say certain things, and that's why I go back and be like, you know, this is why. I over explain because I would rather over explain and you have a good understanding of my thought process on something than me just say something and talk about it as if it's fact. And that's very important to me, especially with talking about Charmed, because it is something that means a lot to us. And so I don't want to just tell you like, now I think it's thus. And then I just hush. And then I fight you every step of the way on what you're saying because that's not what I think. We've watched Charmed so many times. It's like being able to talk about it and have different perspectives on it is very important to me. So if you're new in here and you are not here, I am giving my little version of what I would do with the Charmed reboot. So that is what we are doing right now. And mind you, you know, you don't have to like what I'm saying. I'm just a fat man from Louisiana who is sitting here looking stupid on a Wednesday evening or whatever day it is. So, yeah, so I would have Piper be a witch of time specifically because oh, Purr, come on, from Louisiana, Purr. So you get it. You get it. I would have Piper in my little version of a reboot have actual power over time itself because I think that it would tie in really well to her storyline that I would write for her this season. Because if you weren't here earlier, what I said is that I would have Prue have been the sister who left because she didn't want the responsibility of being the oldest and always having to look out for them. And then I would also reveal later on that their mother was alive. Or, I mean, they knew their mother was alive, but that she was the parent who was a witch, and that she left because she didn't want the responsibility. So the reason that I would make Piper, I would specifically want Piper to be a witch of time in this universe, in this write-up, whatever version of Charmed, is because I would want her in the same way that like Prue would say Phoebe had no sense of the future and so it was ironic that she had the power of premonition. I would kind of want it to be ironic that Piper could control time because she's stuck in the past. Like, I would like for her to have been able to do little things, you know, like outside of freezing people. Maybe she realized like, oh, I can actually, you know, make this object kind of like Mel's powers. You know, maybe she can like make things, she can speed things up and they rust or things like that. But then she can never figure out how to rewind time. So as time goes on, like as the show goes on in this version, in my little version of it, in my little version, time goes on, time goes forward, you know, in the show, and she's learning how to kind of fast forward stuff and mess things up or whatever the case may be, blah, 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 blah. And she can never figure out how to undo it. She can never figure out how to turn time back. She can never figure out how to, fix something that's broken by taking it back in time. And she just can't get it. And then we have like a 2 or 3 episode arc where she really has to face what happened with Patty in this world. And she has to face that Patty left them. She has to face that Prue left them from her perspective. She has to face the fact that the people that she thought were there to protect her were not there to protect her. She has to face everything that she's gone through. And then her power grows to where she can rewind time to a certain extent. Because that's also another thing that I would do, is put a cap on that. Because we don't need mama moving back and forth through time on her own like that. Like, I don't need her going back 100 years with the flick of a wrist. That ain't how that... And for me, I think the reason I would do something like that is because I don't want to watch a show where they're just absolutely too powerful. And they can just do whatever they want to do. Because I think a lot of shows run into that, and they run into those issues when they have a TV show. Because if I'm being 100% honest with you, I think that that's what they may have been scared of, and why they made Piper be able to manipulate molecules and things like that, was because it was like, okay, well, if we make her a time witch, then we gotta, we're gonna be cutting up. And then when they did give her the power to blow things up, it turned into, okay, well, we can't have her just be able to blow up every single demon that they encounter, because then what's the point? Like, at that point, they had to kind of nerf her. Maybe it can grow very slowly over time in terms of how far. I like that. You know what? I'm going to be 100% honest with you, Mia, because I think that's a very good idea. I would even want her power. Now, I hate limiting her power in this way that I'm finna say, but I would even say that, like, for her to do big things, it requires the power of 3. Because, like, maybe her power can only go so far, but to truly expand their individual powers to go, to that next level, it would require the power of 3. So Piper can't rewind time too far or fast forward time too far without her sisters. Phoebe can only see so far into the future or the past without her sisters. She can't just like call a vision without at least another one of them there. Now Prue's telekinesis is kind of like, how do you do that? But I mean, I don't know. Just that's why she can pick up the statues, because it's 3 of them. I don't know, girl. I don't know. Figure something out. That's all I know how to tell you, because outside of that, I ain't got nothing for you, child. I done talk so hard, child. My God. I'm telling you. I guess Tatooine is out of lemonade or whatever, because, child, the depression is still kind of there a little bit, but I don't feel as depressed. I don't feel as bad. I feel like I'm enthusiastic about the show. Not that I wasn't, but I feel like I don't have to fake being enthusiastic about it, because I have new ideas. Let me take a quick moment, but the skin is skin, and thank you. Let me take a quick moment to plug myself. I am a content creator. So if you'd like to follow me on here, or you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube, or you'd like to subscribe to our Discord, please feel free to do so. The links are in my bio. And if you would like to financially support an up-and-coming content creator like me, who gives you these wonderful lives, who gives you wonderful videos, who is cutting up on the YouTube, please consider subscribing to the live or subscribing to my Patreon, where you get access to our GroupMe group chat, bing bow bow, and where we talk about a lot of things up in there. We got a lot of rooms up in there. You can talk about Drag Race, Avatar, you can talk about Buffy, you can talk about whatever you want to up in there. So we got all that. If you go to my Patreon, then you can go to the $3 tier, where you also get access to those things. And we have a lot of subscriber / patron only events that we are putting into the works. So If you would like to support me in that way, please feel free to do so. But if you just want to do it for free, then, YouTube. Hit up the YouTube. OMG, I love the pic of you reading a book. Thank you. I did that for my birthday last year. I got that picture made for my birthday last year. So, my magic pinky. You're not using your pinky. No, Mom, I am using my pinky. You're not using your pinky. Get up in there. $5 to whoever gets that reference. $5 to whoever gets that reference. Oh, God. Oh, a diamond is correct. It is American Dad. It is Francine. Per. It is Francine Diamond. Send me your cash app, baby. I'm a man of my word. $5 to whoever gets them. So, but Jeremiah said, do you think without a white lighter they would be useless? No. I don't know. No. I mean, yes and no. No. I just more vulnerable. You know what? This is the other thing. So if you weren't in here earlier, we are talking about how I would reboot Charmed. Now, I do want to address a white lighter because I do think that I love me some American Dad, baby. Francine Smith and Roger. Baby, when Roger was Martin Sugar and he put that stuff in that teddy bear and he asked that woman, can you tell me what this is? And she said, that is the teddy bear that you got me for my birthday. Baby, he said, don't play with me like that. And then he went to that woman's house and she was like, there was money in it the whole time. And he was like, yeah. Martin Sugar, rest y'all. Bye, Leia. So white lighters in this, well, here's the thing. So someone said they wouldn't be used to the white lighter. Things would just take them a long time. Well, here's the thing. The Charmed ones didn't have a white lighter for 2 seasons. If we're just being 100% honest about the situation. Like season 7 and 8, they didn't have one. And then season 1, they essentially didn't have one that was active with them because Piper's concubine was working behind the scenes and coming in the house, staining the walls. So it's like, technically, on paper, they were still learning things as they were going. They did not have a guide. They didn't have a lead. Which is why I, Galen, would not include a white lighter charge relationship. Number one, I'm just going to give them a female white lighter because, and I know that somebody may be like, that's so basic. You're basic and so is your hair. But the thing is, what bothers me about them having a male white lighter is you can see from a mile away that they are doing, thank you, Book Obsessed. You can see from a mile away that they were going to do that storyline. You could see from a mile away. It was the single most, you knew what was going to happen. So for me, I'm giving them a female white lighter. I don't know that I would make any of them attracted to women, but because I haven't really thought about fitting that into the story. It's not because I don't think that, people should be represented. I haven't thought of a way to put that in the story yet. Now, I would give them a white lighter who was not attracted to women because you're telling us that this is a show about women, strong women who are meant to be protectors of the innocent. And then you give them a male white lighter. Are we okay? Did we think that through? We said, let's go ahead and give them a male white lighter. Because surely these women need a man to guide them in some shape, form, or fashion. Because, think about that. They didn't have a kid. Like, somebody brought up Kit and said they had that lady familiar before. Baby, Kit was a cat. Kit wasn't guiding nobody. Kit was a cat. They had to go to the store and buy Kit some cat food every week to make sure she could eat. I mean, low key, they had to do the same thing with Leo, but still. Are we at 11K followers? Are we at 11K followers? I don't think we. Wait, because if we had 11K, wait, let me see. I don't think we had 11K followers. Well, I can't see it, so never mind. Well, I wouldn't know. No way. Wait, we are at 11K followers. Per. Yeah. Oh, okay, Kim Fields. Well, all right then. All right, Kim Fields. Look at that. Ay. Look at that. But thank you, hussies. I appreciate that. Thank you. Come on, 11K. Child, I never thought we would get to 5K. So being at 11 is like, thank you. Thank y'all, hussies. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me rant. That was my sister in the background. That was my sister in the background. But yeah, so Lily being there is like, it felt like, okay, you have these powerful women who had a powerful grandmother that they didn't know was powerful, but she was teaching them to be, strong women, right? They didn't have a daddy, but then you're telling us that their white lighter is a man. And then Piper's gonna have a son. Like, girl, okay, now you're just playing in my face. Because what was the point? It was giving very much, how can we give them the weirdest relationship with men and still kind of low-key make men the forefront that we possibly can while saying that it's about women. It's like, why do I think Wyatt was Wyatt and not Melinda? I can't come up with a reason. I cannot come up with a reason why they did that. And I have been thinking about that for the past couple of weeks. You can ask, we have been trying to come up with, for the past couple of weeks, a reason narratively why Wyatt needed to be a boy. And I cannot figure it out to save my life. I can't figure it out. I can't. But discussion for a different day. Oh, God, what am I trying to say? Oh, my God, what am I trying to say? I don't know. I would give them a female white lighter. I mean, I just really think that that's like not even a huge... So what? Now you got to get remember when he remember. May, take me to the window. I wish to say goodbye to the cruel world. Bye-bye, cruel world. Bye-bye. Sister, look. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Bye. Okay, I'm good. I had to get that out of my system. I'm so sorry. I can feel the icy breath of death upon my neck. Okay. All right, we're back on track. I just think that narratively too, it would have been good to have them have a female white lighter, because then you can play. Now I'm talking about the OG story. But sisters, did you hear what he called you? And I love how extra she was when she said, Hex. She was so extra. Hey, Miranda. But you could have tapped into, like, especially if you made it Natalie, or they had conceived Natalie as a character, prior, then you could have had her and Prue bond, and we realized, like, oh, she's bonded with Natalie because we know about Natalie. I mean, we know about God damn. She's bonding with Natalie because she reminds her of Grams. And I think then you can get into you could kind of, and this is something that I wish they had done if they had given her a female white lighter. You could have had Prue cling on to her, clash heads with her because she wasn't used to someone else kind of like running the roost for her. But then at the same time, have her hang on to her because Prue still needs someone that can be there for her. And that's what I think the show is missing sometimes. And that's what I would have included is, yes, we talk about the stress that Prue was under being the oldest. And yes, we talk about how Prue, felt like she wasn't really doing her duty as the oldest sister, or they didn't need her anymore, or whatever the case may be. But I wish at some point someone had just been like, I need someone here for me. Because yes, I'm strong. Yes, I whatever. But who's gonna, and not just let it be like, oh, my sisters are gonna be here for me. No, like, because Prue is still a person who needs, maybe she still needed that guiding hand. Maybe she still needed someone who could teach her, like, okay, da-da-da-da. So that's how you get into the white lighter, and why you give her a female white lighter. So that she can low-key look up to her. But then at the same time, be like, okay, you trying to tell me what to do and I don't like that. Am I read up on the comics? Nor, but yes. No, but no, not really. Like, I know what happens in them. However, I haven't read, like, the comics in sequence. So anyway, I feel like I just lied. I think I just lied. Let me tell my truth. I'm a liar. I'm a consistent liar. I'm lying right now. I don't actually even exist. I'm just putting an image into your head. But but yeah. So that's why I would give them a female white lighter. I feel like she had Grams though. Well, yeah, but Grams was dead. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying is, like, Grams was gone on to the lower room. She had taken her tumble down those stairs and she didn't get back up, and she was burning eternally. So Prue didn't have anyone there to, like, guide her. She could rely on her sisters, but, and then that's the other thing. Diamond is right about that. Book obsessed. We're besties now. You just let me know when brunch is and I'll be there. But Grams low-key turned Prue into a parent, and that's the problem, and why their relationship was always, I feel like if they had gone any deeper into their relationship, I think we would have really seen the cracks and flaws in it, because she didn't let Prue go off to college because she had to be there to take care of her sisters. She blamed her for their accident. Like, Grams really expected Prue to step up and help her. What? Prue was a little girl. Prue was like, what, 8 when Patty went to the underworld? Like, Patty's not in hell. Patty is probably in limbo. She's probably in limbo. But Grams is definitely burning. And I'm joking, by the way, before anyone's like, why, we've seen that Grams is in heaven. No, okay. We never saw Grams in heaven. We heard Grams talk about being in heaven, but that's all, hey. Katera said, I feel like Piper became a great big sister because of her. I don't. I actually think that she became a good. We've had this discussion a lot. So I'm just gonna kind of speed run through it. I think that I think that number one, it's not fair to say Piper is a good oldest sister, because I think the thing about the oldest sister in the context of Charmed is that there is no like oldest sister. Hey Jonathan, it's like she's the oldest living sister. And they had, Joshua Ramaley said wrong, and I say right. Touche, sir. So now we've both said words. I'm at you, dead husband for dead husband. But anyway, what was I finna say? The thing is that the oldest sister was something that Grams made up. Grams is the one who put Prue in this. Hey, Bree. Grams is the one who put Prue in a scenario where she was a parentified older sister. She did everything that she did because Grams put her in on this pedestal as an older sister. But then she also did not give her the freedom to be her own person. And what's interesting is you actually see her do it to Piper a little bit. Because you see when in season 6, she comes back and she's like, and you're the oldest. You're supposed to be da-da-da-da. You're supposed to be da-da-da-da. And it's like, Piper is the oldest living sister, baby. And plus, there's another whole other layer to this. They're adults. These women are adults. They don't need someone guiding them and leading them and whatever else. Specifically, not Paige, who grew up by herself. So Graham still had that idea in her head that the oldest sister does this. And she didn't have an understanding that the dynamics of their sisterhood had changed. And she just expected like, okay, you're the oldest sister and I expect you to act like this. That's the problem with Piper. Piper had that same image in her head and thought that she had to be Prue when she didn't. Because, and here's the thing I really want us to remember, and this is what I brought up when we talked about season 4 in one of our lives before. If you have an older sibling and that person goes on to the upper room, no one is going to look at you and be like, all right, time for you to step up. Time for you to do your thing. Time for you to be who we want you to be, unless there's a need for it, right? So in season 4, we do have sort of a need for it because we're going up against the source. We got Paige. So we have a need for an older sister type. We have a need for that. And she wanted to honor her sister. No, she wanted to be Prue. Because it's for a specific reason. She thought that the oldest sister is supposed to be the one that keeps things together because that's been her experience her whole life. She's always had a big sister who was there to make things better. This is the same person who, and if I start talking hard, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to like come at nobody. I sometimes when I get in my zone, that's what it is. But Piper was looking at it like, okay, the oldest sister does this. The oldest sister does that. I am the oldest sister now, but she's not like, I'm looking for my thing to charge my, hold on. Let me try to pull this down first because I just want to make sure my phone doesn't go on to glory. But Piper is used to the oldest sister being one thing. She's used to the oldest sister being a certain way, and she felt like if she wasn't that, she's a failure. But the reason I bring up how it works in the real world is like, if you had a sister, not Glorificus, Tick-Tock Krell, or what was his name? Was it Krell? Tick freaking Tock. Anyway, I love Buffy, but she never wanted to do the whole big sis thing. She wanted to protect Phoebe. I get why you say that, but I'm gonna answer that, and then I'm gonna come to this person who said, "What would you say about this show?" to someone who's never seen it, but they might like it. My thing about that is that, yes, it was about protecting Phoebe, but I think Phoebe represented a much bigger issue in Piper's head. It wasn't just Phoebe. Like, to her, it was keeping the family together, because Phoebe didn't turn evil like that on a permanent basis when Prue was there. Not to say that it was because of Prue, but from Piper's perspective, well, she didn't turn evil when Prue was here, but she did it with me, and I let him get her, and I let him take my baby sister away from me. I let, because Piper's never been in a world where she hasn't had a big sister there to protect her and Phoebe. That's never been a reality for her. And she's putting that pressure on herself because, again, she grew up in a house where the oldest sister was supposed to be the best, essentially. And that's why I want to go back to saying, I'm writing that down so I don't forget, but that's why I want to go back to saying that about regular families. If you lost a sibling today and someone told you to your face that they were happy that your sister was gone because now you could grow as a person, you would tear that town up from one side of the Golden Gate Bridge to the other, because you would be so upset. And so that's why when people talk about this show, and listen, the X-Men review is coming. So just yeah. Thank you. That made me feel so good that you asked about that. I feel so seen now. That makes me feel really good, actually. That actually warmed my heart. But if someone told you that in real life, you would be upset, because that sounds insane to say. It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy to say that, like, this person had to leave your life, had to leave this earth for you to be able to grow as a person. And so that's what I mean when I say, I think Piper as a character, the way that people put that, the way that fans put that stress on her to, oh, well, she grew as a person because Prue was gone. That's the same thing that Piper was doing to herself. And why I don't like watching it through that lens, because imagine how much that hurts to think that you have to step up now because your sister is gone. And then, I know it's a show, so of course, like, don't think I'm sitting here thinking this is real life. Like, don't play in my face like that. But what I'm saying is, like, if Piper was a person and she was already feeling that, and then someone said, you know, Piper, you are a much better, stronger person since Prue went to the, to the lower room. Imagine how hurt she would be. Imagine how it watching Charmed. So for me, the reason I love doing reviews and things like that, and breakdowns, and the reason I really want to make that my this my full-time job eventually one day, is because I think you can't half look at it. Like, you can't look at a character as a real person in some respects and then be like, yeah, okay, this is my threshold. This is where she's not a person anymore. Good night, Jonathan. I'm gonna look at her and say, like, oh, I loved Piper and she was my favorite, and I look up to her and she was just like my sister and I feel like I was Piper. But then when it comes to the trauma that they experience, you're just like, ugh, but she did good without that lady there, though, so I don't know what else to tell you. Like, you can't pick and choose when, to me, in my opinion, you can't pick and choose when you want something to apply. And so when I think of, people saying, like, oh, she grew because Prue wasn't there, I just think, like, if the character of Piper was a real person, she would break down. She would go in her room and she would break down. Because even in that, you are making this still about Prue. She can't actually be in her own pain and grief because whoever is saying that is making it still about Prue. And yes, I understand the sentiment that it's about Piper, but you can't say, okay, well, Piper, you grew because you were not going to be capable of growing because. And so now you are actually capable. Oh my God, I'm so shocked that now you're capable because this person is gone. Like, especially to say someone that she looked up to so much and loved has to be gone for her to grow as a person. I'm not telling anyone that you got to change your thought process today. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's the lens that I look at Charm through, is how hurt she is because, and how tiring that is. And that's why I have a newfound respect for season 4 is, and season 5 as well, because after the source is gone, they really didn't need to have the I'm the older sister, I'm da-da-da-da. And they could just live their own lives. And they were just sisters. They just got a chance to be sisters. And I think the reason that they almost felt like roommates at a certain point with Paige is because I really genuinely think there's two things about that. Number one, they didn't grow up with Paige. So their relationship with her is always going to be different. That's number one. And then number two, I think that what we were watching in later seasons was them being sisters. And I don't think that we were ever used to watching them be sisters without some sort of big bad in the background and needing someone to come to our, like, we had never really watched it like that because the source was always lingering, and you know, Prue could always obsess over this, the triad, the source, and learning about da-da-da-da. There was always something there. But I think when we had a chance to really watch them be sisters, and Piper becoming a mother, Phoebe coming into her into a career which she's never done before, and then we watch Paige trying to live her life and adjust to being a witch and adjust to having sisters. Because that's the other thing, when people say, oh, I hate, you know, I can't stand Paige, I da-da-da-da, blah 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 blah, whenever they do that, I think it's really not fair, because I feel like that kind of argument forgets Paige does not know these people. You know what I mean? Paige does not know them. They don't know Paige. This is not just a case of like, oh, well, they don't know each other. They don't know each other. And to the person who just asked about Buffy and Charmed are on two completely different trajectories. I think you would like Charmed. I will also say that don't go into it to put it up against Buffy, because they're in two separate realms. And I will explain why. But, oh my God, what am I trying to say? I done got off track. Somehow it's Leia's fault, even though she's not in here. Yeah, we're coming on 2 hours. Wow, that is crazy how time flies. They don't know each other. Like, someone brought up, and I don't know who that was that said that, but someone brought up about the fact that they didn't know she was claustrophobic. And that's true. That's a very true statement. They had no idea that this woman was claustrophobic. And that's because they didn't know each other as people, because they didn't have a chance to get to know each other as people. They had to get to know each other as witches. They had to form some sort of a sisterhood so that they could fight the source. They had to form some sort of a sisterhood group effort so that they could, you know, get done what they needed to get done. But they didn't get a chance to know each other. So by season 5, yeah, it was JD. Okay. By season 5, when they, you know, they don't know she's claustrophobic, I'm like, oh, well. I mean, the thing is, they never even told us as the audience that the lady was claustrophobic. So it's like, so you see what I mean? It was like, it's one of those things that's what we're finding out in the moment. So it, to me, I think that's the thing about Paige, and why sometimes it kind of feels like she doesn't get a fair shake from the fans, is because they don't give her that opportunity. She didn't get that opportunity, rather, to grow into their family. She got forced into it. She had to move in because the Power of Three needed to be in one place. You know, she had to come there and learn how to coexist with them because the source was after them. She had to learn how to be a witch. She had to. Like, there was a had in front of everything that she did. Everything. 20K likes per. Thank you. I love you hussies. You hussies are cutting up. Look at y'all liking the live. Well, while we're doing that, let me go ahead and make a cute little, if you want to subscribe to the live, or you want to subscribe to my Patreon so that you can support a creator like me, then please feel free to do so. You can also follow me on here. You can subscribe to my YouTube so that you can get all kinds of videos, because currently I'm working on some rewrite videos for Charmed. I just did the Seer. The next video is going to be about Matthew Tate. So if you want to be a part of that, then please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube. You can join our Discord, and that's free. That's free. You ain't got no reason not to get up in there. You ain't got no reason not to get up on the YouTube. And if you don't, I'm not going to say it's that you hate me. I am going to say that you want me to fail. Baby, we're trying to get to at least... So I just hit 500 subscribers on YouTube. So I'm just trying to get, like... If we can get to, like, 600. If we can just get to, like, 600, then I'll be good. Y'all got me? Yeah. Yeah. Ari said, not you gaslighting us. I'm not gaslighting you. I am saying to you that if you love me and you want to see me succeed in life and be able to feed my children, that's all I'm saying. If you want me to be able to feed my children that I don't have yet, then I think you should at least go subscribe to the YouTube. That's it. That's all I'm saying. If you don't want my children to eat, then hey, you gotta go sleep. Gotta go to sleep with that. I don't. I just gotta go sleep with hungry kids. Let me stop. Imagine somebody really saying that. But no. Oh my God. What am I trying to say? I don't know. Okay. Remember, thank you, because baby, listen, tonight the ADHD is ADHD. Yeah. We were talking about, thank you, Book Obsessed. Thank you. We were talking about Paige and how she didn't really get a fair shake. And there are things like that. Thank you, Ari. Is it Ari or is it Ari? You are so pretty. Oh my God. Girl, I don't know who this is that just said this about. You done lost your mind. Whoever that was that said that about why IDKY, but I love your voice. Well, thank you, because I don't. I hate the sound of my voice, but it is what I got. So it just is what it is at this point. Do I discuss shows? Yes. Mainly I talk about Charmed, but I am starting to get into more discussions about X-Men. I'm trying to get into talking a little bit more about Grimm and some other shows. So yeah. And I do want to say, so somebody asked earlier, what would I say to someone who hadn't watched Charmed before, but I think they might be interested in it? I think that what I would say about this show to someone who hadn't seen it before, when you do a discussion about Buffy, you know what? Hey, we can make that happen. We're actually, I don't know who in here, if y'all watch Vampire Diaries, anything like that. I don't watch it, but we are going to have a discussion about it. Now, it is for my patrons / subscribers to the live. So, but we will eventually have one on here, but we're going to next week do, they're gonna be leading a discussion about the Vampire Diaries and doing that. I do not know nothing about that show. So that is why our community, I'm going to let them lead that discussion. And Catherine says she asked for a discussion about Buffy. I don't think that you did. And if you did and I just forgot, then I blame you. I don't know what to tell you. And I think that that's your fault, Catherine. And you know I love you to pieces. But that's your fault. Because I feel like you didn't remind me. But no, I love you too, Catherine. But no, I think that if I were to talk to someone who hadn't seen Charmed before, y'all, I'm very dramatic. I am very dramatic. So please just kind of go with me on this. I would tell them what Charmed meant to me, and let them make a decision from that. And how I would describe Charmed to them is, it's a show that's imperfect, right? It's a show that has flaws. It is a show that you might be watching sometimes like, what? They did, huh? With who? Where? But once you get past those flaws, it's something that you can watch and that you can immerse yourself in. And it's a show that if you start watching episode 1, then you're going to, thank you, Jalen. When you start watching episode 1, you're going to at least watch a couple more episodes just to see. And then by the time you watch a couple more episodes just to see, you're going to be on season 5. Why must you tease me, Anton? And that man had his whole thing. Anyway, but I think I would make sure to let them know that Charmed is a comfort show because it reminds you of family. And it reminds you, like, my mama was watching it, and the first episode I ever saw was Charmed Again. That was the first episode of Charmed I ever saw was Charmed Again. And I still remember that feeling of watching it and being so confused, but being so just like, I was 10 and just being so enamored and just being like, okay, wait, this man in this cloak is after them. Why? You know, what's going on? They talking about they lost their sister and this and that. And Charmed is a show you can grow with. Charmed is a show that you can find a little piece of yourself, of your life, of your something in. And the biggest thing for me has been, and I know again this is very dramatic, if you had told me 3 years ago that this many people watch Charmed, and that we would still be this, we would be a community like this, I would not have known what to say, because I wouldn't have thought it was real. Because Charmed was a show that I was weird and I'd go watch in my room by myself on a Sunday. You know, my mom and my sister would listen to me talk about it, but having friends to talk to about it was not something that I had. And I know y'all might hear me talk about the Patreon, and you may hear me talk about subscribing to the live, things like that. The reason for that, and this is just me talking to y'all now, especially the people in here who are new and may not know, the reason that you hear me bring up the Patreon, the reason that you hear me bring up subscribing to the live is, a couple of years ago, I was at probably the unhappiest I think I've ever been in my life. And talking about Charmed gave me a community that I didn't realize was there. And we do have a group me. We do have a Discord. We do, baby, we got merch. We have merch. You can buy this, the Power of G, because I'm G. You can buy the Power of G mug. You can buy We have shirts, but it's not about that. Talking about Charmed gave me a confidence in myself that I did not think I was ever going to have. I never thought that I was going to be trying to pursue something full time that wasn't a job in an office. But talking about Charmed gave me that. Having people on here to talk to about Charmed gave me that. Last year, I set a goal for myself at the beginning of the year that you did catch alive. I set a goal for myself that I was going to meet one of the Charmed ones by at least the end of the year, by at least the end of 2023. I was going to meet one of the Charmed ones. Well, baby, we met all four of them last year. We met all four. We sure did. We met all four of them. And if you had ever told me that that was something that would happen, I would not have believed you. If you had told me that I was going to get the opportunity to stand in front of them and talk and let them know how much this show meant to me, like, girl, what? Like, the fact that it happened, I still sometimes have to, like, pinch myself. And I'm trying to find the picture. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on. This is me with them. So, let me move my fat. So, me and Shannon, me and Holly, me and Alyssa, me and Rose. You know what I mean? Like, thank you, the Black Russian Barbie. We usually have a speech, but I'm not going to do it tonight because I don't want to get sued. But thank you for joining the coven. One of our lovely admins, Catherine or Brittany, will be in contact with you for the Group Me group link. You are now a part of the coven. You are now part of the power of G. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being lovely. Look at you, cutting up. Hey, Sappy. But just like, and okay, so I met them on different occasions, but I wore the same shirt so that I could have a little bit of cohesiveness. So don't play in my face, okay? I wanted to give the effect that I had met the four of them at once. So don't play with me and be like, why were you wearing the same shirt? Why were you? But no, Shannon, Holly, Alyssa, like, I met the four of them. I am 6'3". I'm 6'3". They are very short, petite women. Like, I think Rose is the tallest of them, and she's only like 5'3". They're very tall. I mean, very short women. Very, very short. And like I said, I'm very large. But yeah, these are me meeting our girls. And this was, baby, I was smiling so hard right here. You can't see it. But the way my mouth said, girl, I was cheesing so hard. My mouth just went, I met that lady and my mouth, because Holly was the first one I met. Baby, when I tell you, I literally was like, it was giving Crookshanks. It was given very much, are you okay? Sir, do you need us to call a hospital? I am telling you, the way my face was, the Black Russian Barbie said, thank you so much for having me. So happy to be. No, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Central Illinois Per. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. I can't wait to see what you think of our community, of your community. I am telling you, I genuinely was like, there's no way. I was like, there is no way that this has happened. I mean, okay, So let me give y'all a little story. Let me give you a little. So okay. So number one, Holly, Shannon, and Rose are going to be in Dallas in June 6th through the 8th, and I'll be there if you wanna meet, meet your boy in person. I'll be there, and then I will be in Daytona Beach at 90s Con in September. So but it's gonna be it's gonna be Shannon, Holly, Alyssa in Dallas, and then it's gonna be Shannon, Holly, Alyssa, Grams, Daryl, and Brian in 90s Con in September. So all I'm saying is I would probably go ahead and, because they got like everybody gonna be there in September in 90s Con in Daytona Beach in Florida. So that's all I'm saying. And I'm gonna be there. 90s Con is gonna be Daytona Beach in Florida in September. I don't remember. I am gonna be there, Sammy. I am. You got the VIP tickets, Abby Purr. The one in Dallas, I'll send you the website because I don't remember off the top. It's the Fanboy Expo. It's the Fanboy Expo in Dallas in June. Like June 6th through the 8th. So, yeah. Yeah, Fanboy Expo. Because interestingly enough, I met Alyssa at the Fanboy Expo. Thank you, Javion. Thank you, Javion Harvey. Thank you. Thank you, my love. We can go grab us a besties lunch. We can have us a Power of G meetup thing place in this place and time. So, but Alyssa, I met Alyssa at do they ever come to New York? I don't know. They're usually like all over the place. Like I know they be in Scotland and Ireland and all of that. So, but yeah, so Rose, I love Rose. Baby, Rose ate that picture up. Rose said, let me go ahead and give you a little face real quick. She said, let me go ahead and give you a little shum. But I met Alyssa at the Fanboy Expo in Dallas last week. So I hope you have fun, Living Doll. But I went to go meet Holly. Okay, so let me tell y'all this story. Y'all didn't ask me for this story, but I'm still gonna tell y'all, and then we're gonna get back to talking about the show real quick. I went to meet Holly in last June, because I was like, so also for people who don't know, I have arthritis. And so sometimes like a lot of walking, standing, things like that was not like, I thought that it was going to stop me from doing it. So I just never went anywhere. And like last year I was like, I want to see one of them before I die, essentially. And so I found out Holly, I don't even remember how I found out Holly was going to be in Tennessee. She was in Knoxville, and I bought a ticket, and then I drove to Memphis and then drove to Knoxville from there. So it was a lot of driving involved. And I went to meet Holly, and it was such an amazing experience. It was such an amazing experience. And I was like, I want to meet all of them, but I don't know how to do it. And because, at that point, like I think they had just done like the one in Paris, or they had just announced the one in Paris. So they had done 90s Con in Massachusetts or whatever, or wherever it was. And I was like, I want to meet them, but I'm scared to get on an airplane. I'm so scared to get on a plane. And I was like, I'll never be able to see them. On the way back from meeting Holly back home, I found that Holly, Shannon, and Rose were going to be at I found out that Holly, Shannon, and Rose were going to be at in San Antonio. So I was like, oh my God. And so like San Antonio is like 8 hours away. So I made the decision to go to Big Texas Con. That's it. So I went to San Antonio, and that's where I met Shannon and Rose, and I saw Holly for the second time. And then As I was driving home from San Antonio, I found out that Alyssa was going to be in Dallas. Dallas is 4 hours away. Dallas is 4 hours away. So you best believe I went to go see my girl. Did I have the money for it? No, but I still went. And as you could, like, this was probably the best experience. Not the best. Let me not say the best. I'm not going to say the best. It was, well, I mean, I was. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And especially because I didn't think it was going to happen. I never thought that I was going to meet them. I never thought I would get the opportunity. I never thought that I was going to have the chance to meet them in person and hug them and talk to them and look at them. And it blew my mind. Like, it absolutely, you blew. Oh, Aaliyah said that she met Shannon that day too. Oh, I love that. I never thought that would happen. And as a person who has arthritis and who had always put myself in this box and said, I don't think I'll be able to walk around this venue. I don't think I'll be able to do this. There was something about putting that to the side in my mind and now having these pictures of them. And these trips represent so much more than just meeting them. These trips showed me that I can do what I set my mind to. Like, of course, there are going to be, limitations to things. I'm not saying, like, if you've got a disability like me, you've just got to push through. Because, baby, it's some days where that pain be kicking my tail. So I'm not saying you can push through if you just put your mind to it. I'm saying that I think that what these experiences taught me was that everybody deserves a chance to chase their dream. Everybody deserves a chance to do what makes them happy. And life is too short to not chase it. It may not work out. You may be sitting there looking crazy. Who's that behind you? You got Jacqueline Smith. You got Cheryl Ladd, Kate Jackson, Farrah Fawcett. But it taught me so much about what I can do. And like I said, that's why the Patreon and the subscription, it's more than just it's more than just asking you if you want to support me financially. It's not just that. It's our dream coming to life. Because as people support me, I'm able to give you content. I'm able to give you perspectives. I'm able to give you more, because baby, I ain't got no job right now. So this is what I got to focus on. And and it's like, I don't know. So that was a very long-winded thing. I don't know what the point of it was, but I just want to tell y'all that, I guess, just to kind of let you know. But yeah, I'm sorry. Is this your actual voice? No, I went to Dollar General and I stole one. So every now and again, I just kind of pop it in so I can use it. But so yeah, so that's my little story. For the people who are new here, is your boy is just living his life. China said, "Can I see Alyssa Milano?" Yes. That is Alyssa Milano. Baby, Alyssa did not get up from that table. Alyssa did not get up from that table. And I don't know what it was that was so funny about that to me. I was like, Alyssa said, everybody else was like, yeah, let me go ahead and take a picture with you. Let me go ahead and whatever. Let me give you a hug. Alyssa Jane said, baby, I am not getting up from this table. She had just got there. And Alyssa Jane said, if you think that I'm finna get up and my feet be hurting, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know why that tickled me. She didn't do that for anybody. Like, she didn't get up for anybody. I am telling you, I was so tickled. And it was so funny to me that I was thinking, like, because I'm like, okay, wait, is she gonna get up? And she didn't. And I was like, okay, well. Oh God. So yeah, that's me and my girls. That's me and my girls. And I'm just so happy I got a chance to meet them. And I have these pictures. And I have these stories. And I have these experiences to share. Like, that is just amazing to me. And then I got my girls behind me. Oof. Yeah, I hate that I can't get it to where I don't, like, cover up, one of their faces. That bothers me so bad. But yeah, so that's a little peerage into my charmed journey and experience. That's just a little bit about who we are. I am the fifth sister, baby. I am the fifth Hallie Wheel. Do you understand me? It's giving very much. Hello, Afifa. How is your mother? She's still on drugs, Callie. When Aviva was like, she's doing better, I think she's gonna get out of rehab or whatever it was she said, and Callie was like, that's great. Like, Callie was like, girl, I don't care. She was like, is she? Callie was like, oh, that is amazing. That's great. Anyway, so about the charmed ones, I don't know why that is so funny to me. I'm telling you, I get so tickled every single time. Because Aviva was like, not Aviva, Callie was like, girl, okay, yeah, I asked you how she was. I didn't ask you to go into detail about it. I didn't ask you. She was like, girl, I didn't ask you to tell me what she been up to. I didn't tell y'all that. I just asked you to say, how is she? That's a good, bad, that's it. That's all I needed. That's all you had to say, was just I need a head nod. That's it. Oh God, I'm so tickled, man. I'm so tickled. If y'all don't know, I don't know that I have whatchamacallit. I am going to be, if you have ever listened to if you have ever listened to Words of the Witches podcast, they are putting on a musical, a Charmed musical, and your boy is going to be providing the voice for Coop. I am going to be the voice of Coop, and I am so excited. We wrap up filming or recording tomorrow, and I'm so excited. We've been working on it for a little while. I auditioned in March. I'm only singing a little bit, but I'm just like providing some lines for Coop. It's not like a starring role, but it'll be available in May, like early May, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, things like that. So please go follow Words of the Witches. And and then in May, once I have a little bit more whatever, then I can share it with y'all. I don't have a picture that I can put like as the background on here, but I hope y'all enjoy it. I do love to sing, so I was excited that there was a little bit of a singing role, that there is a little bit of singing going on. Now, the story is going to be set in the comics, but even though it's set in the comics, it's calling back to the storylines from the show. So, like, if you haven't read the comics, you don't necessarily need to understand what's going on. It's a very good story, and it brings all of their past into it. So you'll be able to hear it. You'll be able to probably talk along with some of the scenes, because I was able to, and I was like, oh, that's this scene, and da-da-da-da. So I think y'all are gonna love it. I think that you are absolutely gonna enjoy it. And it just feels like this is like This is the beginning of the rest of your life. This is the beginning. The beginning. This is the beginning of the rest of your life. It's giving very that. So I am very excited. Very, very, very excited. Gem, was she truly outrageous? Truly, truly, truly outrageous. But yeah, so I'll give y'all some more details on it. I'll give y'all hussies some more details on it. I think we had a really great conversation tonight. I think that we had a very good discussion tonight. I think that we had a lot of good points being made tonight. I think that we had a lot of good talks. And if you want to have more talks, then please feel free to follow me so that way you'll know when I go live on here. And if you want to have even more discussion, then please go to my YouTube and subscribe to me on YouTube. Because I'm going to be doing some rewrites of storylines, and I'm going to be doing some in-depth discussions on there as well. So you don't want to miss that. So please head on over to the YouTube. If you'd like to support a content creator like me, then please feel free to subscribe to the live, or please feel free to subscribe to my Patreon. It's up to you. If you want to. You don't have to. I mean, you should. Because, I mean, why not? Because, I mean, why not? I feel like I got some quality content tonight. That's what I think. But if you want me to fail, it's okay. Oh, that's creepy. Oh, my God. Thank you, Jay Harvey. Oh, Lord, that made me so uncomfortable. Okay, thank you, Jay Harvey. That scared me. I was like, what is that on my face? But, baby, thank you, RJ, for the roses. Thank you. But, yeah. If you don't, if you're not financially able to, do that, then please just subscribe to my YouTube. Or join us on the Discord. We have a Discord. And yes, my friends and I have a charmed podcast called the Nexus Podcast. And you can just click the name in my bio and it'll take you straight to our page. So no reason for you not to have heard it or listened to it. If you want to hear us talk about Charmed, please go listen. I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it, me personally. And yes, like Mia said, follow to be notified next time we go live. We go live at least every Wednesday and Saturday. We have our subscriber and Patreon watch party on Tuesdays. So that's what we do there. We do that via Zoom. So we have watch parties via Zoom on Tuesdays. We go live on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Sometimes we go live on Thursdays, but we're trying to we're trying to go on YouTube on Thursdays. And sometimes we just kind of go live whenever we want to, because I ain't got no job. And then, yes, like Troy Nell said, baby, the group meet is where we talk about everything. Girl, do you want to talk about that rash that you shouldn't have, but you do, but you don't want to tell your friends about it because they're going to laugh at you? Come tell us. We're not going to judge you. I promise. Not where you can hear us. So, that's all I'm saying. Graham said you're bad people. What are we going to do? What are we going to do if we see a bad guy? I'm going to freeze him. And I'm going to move him. Okay. We get it. We get it, little Prue. Well, if you're really fine, we pull that. Oh, wait. JD, okay, wait. Let me do Brittany. Thank you. So, okay. Oh, yes, and we have merch. Oh, my God. How did I forget that? Yeah, we have merch. We have a Power of G mug that you can see I use on my desk to keep my pens and my this. We have a Power of G mug, and we also have t-shirts available. You can go follow us on Instagram at Power of G 2024. Yeah, that's how you can follow us on Instagram. I think. Girl, it's in my bio, so you can just go hit it. Yeah, that's it. The only other thing I do want to do for JD is Lillian, and then this will be, hey Frankie, this will be our way to go on out. Lillian, let me set the scene. Piper has gone to go talk to Lillian, Lily's first wife. And she's just asking her questions about Leo. And she goes and gets a purple heart box, and she can't really open it because she's old. And and Lillian says, Leo came to me in a dream. He was bathed in the most beautiful white light. He told me that I was to move on and find a new love. And I did. Multiple times. Sometimes on my knees, sometimes on my hands. It didn't matter. And I found the most wonderful man. And we had 2 beautiful children. And great-grandchildren. And even a great-grandchild. Oh God, let me stop. And even a great-grandchild. But anyway, not 25K likes per. Okay, wait, let's take a selfie. Let's take our selfie. Let's take a selfie. We haven't taken a selfie in a long time. All right, y'all smile. Get ready for the selfie, okay? Are y'all ready? Are y'all... You better smile. You better smile. Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. Anyway. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great night. Y'all have a great morning, a great afternoon, a great whatever it is, wherever you are. And I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be good. And I'll see y'all either maybe tomorrow or Saturday. One of the two. See y'all later. Bye.